Ask yourself this honestly. Did you ever think that in life you would see a movie that stars both Donald Sutherland and Lenny Kravitz and it's a drama? The Hunger Games Catching Fire is directed by Francis Lawrence and stars Jennifer Lawrence. They have the same last name. Getting off topic already, the sign of a great film reviewer. It also stars Josh Hutcherson, Liam Hemsworth, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Donald Sutherland, Jenna Malone, Jeffrey Wright. There's a huge cast in this movie of extremely talented people, and they are all assembled for this giant franchise sequel. It's a big sequel. Hunger Games was a humongous success financially. Critics liked it, people liked it. Certain things about the book to movie translation did bother some fans. That's always that's going to happen all the time. So in this movie, we get a much better look at the Capitol, this evil government that controls people, uses people to star in the Hunger Games. And in this film, Katniss, played by Jennifer Lawrence, and Peeta, played by Josh Hutcherson, are forced back into another Hunger Games because of some random newly written rule, because this government is so against these people. And this government just wants to see Katniss and Peeta fail at everything. They want to use them to control people as well by influencing them to do various things. And all they want to do is try to figure out a way to get these people out of there. And the best way they can think to do that is to start another Hunger Games and force winners of previous Hunger Games to be involved. Now, what I had heard from a lot of people was that this film was going to be a lot more dark than the first one because the second book is more dark than the first one. And sometimes with movies, I hear that, oh, the movie is so much darker than the first one, or oh, it's so much more intense and more violent. This movie truly is more dark than the first one in the best type of way, because it's not a film that's more dark simply because it's more violent or there's more forced scenes of sadness where they think, well, we're going to add this and this and this to make it seem more dark. This film has real, genuine emotion where I actually really cared for these characters. They felt sincere and honest. And as the movie progresses and things happen and you watch these characters go through everything you could possibly think of that's horrible, you're just like, that sucks, man. But like I said, the characters in this movie felt so authentic. They felt like real people. Jennifer Lawrence was terrific as Katniss. Again, she is a great actress. We've figured this out. She's great. She's good in the movie. She's very good here. Josh Hutcherson, I thought, did a lot better than he did in the first film. And that was one of my problems with the first one was I don't mind him as an actor. I didn't really feel like he was that much of a real emotional presence. In this film, he gave a much better performance. I thought a much more mature performance. And not just because his character is more mature, he felt like he was giving just a better performance overall than he did in the first movie. Good job. Situations in this movie that are created by the Capitol and forced upon the people get increasingly more sadistic to the point where you're like, dude, this is horrible. There were images in this movie that felt very reminiscent of the Holocaust, where the Nazis stormed places where Jewish people were living and other religions that Hitler didn't like. There were visual elements of that in this film where the officers of the Capitol were going around and storming people's houses and taking people out into the streets and dumping other belongings out, and you really could tell that there was definitely some influence there from that, and it made it all the more horrific. And that's one of the pluses of this movie, is the fact that the villainous aspect of it felt more like a presence. Because in the first film, I get it, there were bad people and, you felt like this sucks, like this whole thing sucks, like why are these people forced to do this? This really sucks. I'm sorry I keep using that. It is not good. It was not good. And you felt it. But in this film, you got to see the behind the scenes of why these people are doing the things they do, why they make the decisions they make. And it made the whole antagonist of this movie, which is basically all of the Capitol, it just felt more like a presence of evil. It was kind of like in the first Star Wars movie, you got Darth Vader, okay, he was evil, he was awesome, he was really cool, he was a bad guy. You got the stormtroopers who can't aim and shoot at anything to save their lives, but you didn't really see the Empire and the whole inner workings of it and how it all came together until the Empire Strikes Back, which is kind of like Catching Fire. You really got a great in-depth look at the bad guys in this movie, and that's one of the reasons why I felt the drama was so much more rich in this film. It was very exciting too. There was a lot of really good action sequences once the Hunger Games starts. Because I can tell you, when the Hunger Games were coming up to a start, my heart was actually starting to race. I was really into it because they lead you up to that so well by enriching the characters and making you feel more for these people and making you feel like, yes, I really care about these fictional people. And that's one of the reasons why the Hunger Games themselves works so well, because you're already at a point where you really want these people to succeed in some way and you want to see these bad guys go to a place that's not happy. I saw this movie with a friend of mine. His name's Craig Candico, and he runs a website called fatmovieguy.com. It's a pretty funny website, but he writes great reviews. And one of the parallels he mentioned after this movie was how realistic it portrays the whole news and media world and the way they look at stars and celebrities. Because we saw a red carpet show before the screening. They broadcast the LA premiere, and the way everyone was just like, oh my god, what are you wearing? Oh, what's those shoes? What's that bag? And it's basically just rich people BSing and trying to promote their stuff. That's really all it is. And the movie really played on that very well with the Stanley Tucci character, who is great in the movie once again. And that's one of the reasons why these books and this movie are very successful, because you really feel a relation to real life. And it has a lot of things to say about the way the government works, about media, and it's all in there in the Hunger Games. And teen girls love it because there's a love triangle and blah, 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 but you know, it actually has a lot of things to say. Another huge improvement I thought over the first film, which don't get me wrong, I actually enjoyed, was the directing. Francis Lawrence gave a much more fluid, solid look to this movie. It felt epic. It felt big, it felt long, but in a good way. It didn't feel too long. You felt like you were experiencing just the right amount of time for these big elements in this movie, and it really paid off. He did a great job setting up the games, setting up the characters. The movie looked so much better. There wasn't as much shaky cam. In fact, there was barely any. It is sad, it is dark, but it is an entertaining, fun movie, and you really get behind the character of Katniss, and Jennifer Lawrence, as I said, does a great job in this movie. This movie really surprised me. I thought it was much better than the first film, which was still a film that I enjoyed. I'm going to give The Hunger Games Catching Fire an A-. It was an intense movie. I really felt for these characters, and I think they did a great job with this one. I'm looking forward to the next one. So guys, when you do see the movie, or if you have already, let me know if you think it honors the book. If you are a huge fan of the book, are you happy? Are you upset that they let certain things out? Or are you happy with the things they took out? Thanks as always for watching, guys. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.